My grandma's final stories. My grandma's book sat on the highest shelf, bound in cracked leather and a ribbon that had lost its color. She read from it every night when we were children, the lights low, her voice soft as if she were counting us into sleep. The stories were small and sharp: a clock that swallowed time, a woman who traded her shadow for a wish, a neighbor who knocked 3 times and then everything went wrong. When she died, the house smelled like tea and dust. We packed her things and left the book behind, thinking it was just an old collection. Years later, the house came back to me. I moved in, alone, and found the ribbon tucked in the back of a drawer. It pulled me to the shelf like a finger. The cover creaked open easier than it should have. The first page smelled of wax and something colder, like cellars. I read the first story that night, not aloud, just to myself, about a boy who locked a thing behind the pantry door and then pretended he forgot the key. The sentences were short, exact. The last line said, "If you listen, there is a scratching. If you ignore it, it gets louder." I left the book on the coffee table and fell asleep on the couch. At 2 a.m., I woke to scratching near the kitchen. Not the light clatter of mice. Slow, patient taps, like someone testing a door. My blood went hollow. I told myself it was pipes, a raccoon, anything reasonable. But the sound kept coming, climbing a rhythm into the drywall. The next morning, I found the pantry door open. Inside, the shelves were neat, but in the back, behind flour and jars, there was a small key pressed into the wood where no key had been before. The key was warm. That night I read again, just the last paragraph, trying to be clever, trying to prove the book was nothing. The words tasted like a dare. The passage described a man who apologized to the thing in the wall and gave it his shoes to sleep with so it wouldn't wander. I laughed at myself and closed the book. The tapping started under the floorboards like a heartbeat. It moved faster, like a child running. My phone went dead suddenly. A dot gif of static on the screen. I went to the pantry, hands shaking, and found the key gone. In its place, a single shoe, muddy and small, tucked into the corner like an offering. I left for a motel that night. I told myself I'd come back in daylight. But at dawn, the house was different. A window I knew well fogged from the inside with a child's breath writing letters. 3 knocks, soft and polite, pulsed from within the walls. I shoved the book into a garbage bag and drove until the road blurred. Later that day, I learned the book had been in my grandmother's will, and nobody had the heart to tell me she'd written a final note inside. It said, plain and awful. I told the stories so it would stay quiet. I am sorry you had to finish the reading. The last thing I heard before I turned the engine over was tapping, delicate as a small hand trying to wake me. I keep the book boxed up now, under the floorboards, under the place where the tapping originates. Sometimes at night I dream my childhood back, and the dream is missing a line. I try to recall it, and something inside me curls away like a cat and refuses to be called.